Na sandrishe tishtati rupamasya na chakshusha pashyati kashanainam hridam manisha manasa bliklipto yaetad vidur amritaste bhavanti. This is from the Kathopanishad, translated as, its form does not exist within the range of vision. Nobody sees it with the eye. When the self is revealed through meditation, it is realized by the intellect, the ruler of the mind, which resides in the heart. Those who know this become immortal. The third eye, also called Jnana Chakshu, the eye of knowledge. Long time back, not long, some time back, there was a book called The Third Eye by Amaury de Riencourt. He explores the relationship between Eastern mysticism and science and says that Eastern mysticism can give us insight into higher levels of reality, and it became quite a phenomena in those days, and a series of books then emerged also on the same theme, dancing woolly masters, etc., etc. The eye of Shiva, the third eye. Shiva has three eyes. What is this eye? Well, the Bhagavad Gita explains further. One who has his mind absorbed in the Atman through yoga, and who has a vision of sameness everywhere, sees the Atman existing in everything and everything in the Atman. Sarva bhutastamatmanam, that famous verse. So here he says, ikshate, iksha, to see. He sees, obviously not with these eyes. And it also means yoga yuktatma, one who is absorbed in yoga. So not with these eyes, and plus one has to be absorbed in yoga. So what that person sees, that same consciousness everywhere, and oneself in that consciousness. So this is just to put this eye in perspective, third eye. It would look funny if you would have had three eyes, Imagine two eyes of seven. And if you had just one eye, that also would look even funnier. Because in Greek mythology, you get the cyclops, Evolution knows better. So you have two eyes. The binocular vision gives us the idea of depth and space, etc., etc. So much for. I remember I had just joined the monastery, and I was sitting with the Swami, and I saw a book on his table, The Third Eye. And I saw it, I said, wow. I took that book and I was reading and I finished it off in a couple of days. I was so absorbed. It was written by Lomsang Rampa. Now, I was so enamored with this idea that even I have to get my third eye open. If this guy can do it, you think I cannot do, I'll try to do this third eye. And then unfortunately, like all dreams, how they break. I found he was a Britisher. His name was Cyril Henry Hoskins. He never went to Tibet. And there was so much of static over him. Some saying it was genuine, some saying it was kind of fraud, is exposed. And so in that, one of the methods he speaks about is the senior lamas, they take a kind of a wooden screw and they surgically, as they say, open his third eye. And I was, could be possible, who knows. And I was at that time a little naive about spiritual things. I'm a little wiser now. And he sees things like he can see people's aura, he can see people's thoughts, etc., etc. And of course, I say, it wasn't, I mean, the book is still popular, but kind of very strange explanations he gave. How did he get all these things? Imagination, etc., whatever. So, third eye means, we always say, first, let us be clear, it is not a physical eye. It has nothing to do with physicality. And you must understand that we also speak, oh, we are looking into the mind's eye. It's not mind's eye also. Because mind's eye is like you imagine things. It depends on memory. Also, your visual cortex and the visual apparatus takes snapshots of this world, and the mind makes them, fills the details, and it feels like it's continuous. You're just taking snapshots. And so that's okay, that's the mind's eye. Okay. Imagination. We also, blind people, I mean those who have become blind later on, they also can say, oh, they use some kind of mind's eye to fill in some of the, to help them maneuver the world outside. That also is memory. Those born blind can also visualize to the mind's eye the external world using the other senses. The other senses become very dominant. So that person, as if it senses. In this way, okay, you can say there's something called the mind's eye, but the mind doesn't have an eye. Okay, we'll see why. Okay, and people say, oh, it's the eye of intuition. No. And people say, oh, of being wide awake. You get clarity, it is creativity, etc. You may think it's like that, but then I'm talking about a real eye. It has nothing to do with creativity. But people try to promote it with all these kind of, catch phrases. Oh, it's intuition. Oh, it's clarity. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. and people, they just swallow it up. But that's a different thing. They thought it was the pineal gland. Oh, why? Because René Descartes is saying, oh, this is, he quotes in the Passions of the Soul, that this is the gland where in the body where the soul exercises its functions more particularly than in all the others. He had to bring in the famous Cartesian divide, mind and matter separate, two things. You cannot mix up both. But they do find they are interacting. Yeah, they interact in the pineal gland. So that was there. So he's saying it's a principal seat of the soul, pineal gland. Now we know it only regulates your circadian rhythm by secreting that melatonin. It's nice, you feel sleepy. But of course, let's not go into the sleep-wake cycle. So these are the various, you can say, depictions. What is this? It's slightly above the middle of the eyebrows. Most of the goddesses depicted are always depicted with the third eye open. Okay. Now, and if they are not depicted, then there is a kind of a bindu or bindi between. And that's why both men and women also, they use that tilak or bindi, trying to depict that this is the third eye. In fact, if you want to understand the scriptures through the understanding of this eye, they are all trying to open this third eye of yours. All. Whether you call it in the Vedas, when the Upanishads or the Tantras or the systems of yoga, all philosophy trying to open this third eye. It has become such a big subconscious, you can say, idea. Somehow you got to open it. And this has become part of that thought processes, part of culture. You may do it like instinctively. You go to any temple and the first thing that the priest will do, yeah, even before you go and see the deity there. Why? Because you have to see the deity with the third eye, not with these eyes. Otherwise, you will see all dirt and all the water, and you open it and then you can see the deity. It signifies Shakti. And so most of these gods are depicted, if they're not depicted with the third eye open, their eyes are wide open. The eyes of God, if you have the vision of God or any gods and all that, first thing you will notice that you are seeing what is real is they do not blink like us. So the eyes are, and see Jagannath's eyes, huge eyes, two big eyes staring at you, like it's like all knowingness. It has become is it only confined to Hinduism? No. It's a universal archetype. For instance, you have the famous eye of Horus in Egyptian mythology. It is everywhere. Oh my God. For instance, they used to put it on the buildings, the coffins, on stela, on pillars, everywhere, on murals, the eye of Horus. It's still very famous, the eye of Horus. And since Egyptian, you can say, influence was vast in those areas, even the Romans and the Greeks have picked it up in their own form. Today also we find it. You go all these Masonic symbols, Freemasons, they have their eye there. You go take a dollar bill and see, oh, there it is. It's there. So we don't think much of it. That's a third eye. Something mystical, something secret and something. So it has been there with human thought and culture, this idea somehow of the third eye. So these being dispensed, we'll say, what can be said of the third eye? First is, it is a doorway to higher consciousness. It is when all the energies, your physical, mental, moral, spiritual energies have peaked and they open things. It's called a doorway. Okay? It's an awareness, constant awareness, a higher awareness. It's a state of alertness, it's a state of non-ego. It's beyond dualities. So when this eye opens, the person's illusions or delusions are dispelled. You cannot have any kind of things. No force can ever overcome the power of this third eye. No material, nothing, no mental force. So this is, it's very powerful, this third eye. When it opens, the two eyes are closed, of course. You cannot have both of them operating. Otherwise, oh, I can see. No. When it opens, the third eye opens, these two eyes, they may look open, they may seem open, but they are not registering anything in the brain. So people will say, oh, you are seeing that particular vision, the eyes are open. Eyes are open, but they are not registering anything. It's always the third eye is seeing things. It is beyond the waking, dream and deep sleep states of yours, states of consciousness. So if you say, my third eye is open, let's have a cup of coffee. Sorry. Those things don't gel together. Okay. So it's not in the waking, not in the dreaming, not in the, it is beyond these things. In short, it is higher consciousness. That is, we perceive a reality beyond the senses. That's why it's called atendriya, beyond the senses. In short, we can understand it is samadhi. Okay. All right. Inner vision, etc. It's samadhi. Samadhi is inner vision. I mean, not the mental gyrations of your mind and you're seeing things. That's not inner vision. The inner vision is different. So we talked about the eye of Shiva opens. So one time Shiva is meditating, and when he meditates, he's completely cut off. And the god of love, he is sent, go, and disturb his meditation. And he goes, he is a fool, he doesn't know, he was instigated. Go. Kamadeva. In Western, like mythology, it's called Cupid. He goes, takes a bow and an arrow, Cupid's arrow. But here this guy is taking sugar cane. Kamadeva. And Shiva is disturbed, he opens his eye, third eye, and burns. And his wife and everybody is coming crying, please, please do something. You cannot destroy him. Destroyed already. Then he gives him a boon. Okay, where will he go? From now on, that God of love will be bodiless. What? He'll go and live in all bodies. That's how we ended up with that. Okay. So when your third eye opens, that all that love which is there, that also gets fried up. Okay. Love for God is different from the love for. So when Shiva is now in the mood of destroying, he is meditating, and then it's time for him to start destroying the world so that he can renew it. Then he starts dancing, and as he begins dancing, his third eye opens and everything is burnt, destroyed. Okay. He is also called Tripurari, or as I say, Tripurantaka. It's very famous, Tripurantaka. 3 and 3 is 3. Pura is city. The 3 cities, there were these 3 cities or 3 fortresses were designed by one great architect, the first architect, called Maya Sura. Maya. Yeah. We have an architect god also. And there were 3 fortresses. They spanned the earth, the intermediate space, and heaven. Iron, silver, and gold. And they had become too prosperous and too powerful, and these guys had to be shown a lesson. So Shiva goes and opens his third eye, and there. So it's nothing but, mythologically, lust, greed, and anger are the 3 citadels where we hide. Shiva comes and destroys. So through various stories, etc., we see the possibilities of the third eye, its powers, and what it does. So these ideas have been drilled. So now I've clarified, it's not physical eyes, it's not mental eyes also. Eye of the mind. And what is it? Why is it called the eye? It said it's called the eye of knowledge. So Swami Vivekananda explains it, and this is the scriptural understanding. So when we see things ordinarily in this external world, we see things in what is called this space, called this great space. And this great space, because it's really great, it's so vast and vast, nobody can say it originated here or anything like that. It's vast. So ordinary perceptions and all these things happen in this great space. It's called a Maha-Akash. When a yogi or we dream, we imagine, or yogi sees things super sensuously, that yogi sees things in called the mind space, the space of the mind. Like there's a physical space, there is also the space of the mind. Because if you have a thought, it has to exist in space, it has to exist in time also. So you will say, oh, this watch, this clock exists here. You unknowingly, or you imply it exists here at this time, here, at this space. So everything, any object to exist has to exist within time and space. And this is the same with thought. Every thought that arises in your mind has to also exist within time and space. So that's why it's called a Chittakash. Okay. Swami Vivekananda beautifully explains it. Then he says, when the perception has become objectless, Here it is. And the soul shines in its own nature. It is called Chidakash, consciousness space or knowledge space. So this is what is the third eye. It does not have an object and a subject. Both have merged. Everything else has to have a subject and the object. So Swamiji says, like when he gives an example of when the Kundalini is rising slowly, slowly and slowly, everything that you see is in the great space, the Einsteinian space. And then higher still, when things, you can see very subtle things, you can see through the mind, in the mind. It's called the mind space. And then he says, when that energy goes up, when it opens, higher and higher it goes, it reaches up here, and then it becomes objectless. Okay, that is the third eye. It's somewhere here. Oh, don't worry, we'll wait, slowly, slowly. We'll go about it somewhere here. Okay. So it's called Agnya Chakra, the command center. Command. You know, everywhere you'll have these military planners and all in one place, the command center, the command center. So Sri Ramakrishna says, Swamiji actually explains things. So what is this Kundalini and what is all this? It's your own energy, your physical, mental, moral, spiritual, whatever you have gained through your spiritual disciplines. It's collected and it gets refined. So this ordinary energy which is in the body has now become refined, has become converted. And the word used is ojas. Ordinary energy cannot open up the Sushumna for the Kundalini to rise. It has to become ojas energy. People now here, they have so many sects and so many yoga studios and talking about Kundalini and this and that, and we look and okay, let them make a little money. It's only that ojas energy. So how does it happen? The coiled up is nothing but potential. There's no real snake there. Yeah, people now, they will say this snake. It has nothing to do with snake. This is symbology. And if you cannot understand a symbology, then you get into a lot of trouble. So your energies, all your potentials and all are coiled up. And then that energies are now being transformed. How? By your spiritual disciplines. And like most people say, oh, by the grace of God also. Okay. Or Kali, the Shakti is there. She wants to become one with Shiva. Shiva is here. So she wants to get out. And she is not getting any passage. So once your energies are converted into or transformed, they find a path up. And the path is called Sushumna. It rises up higher and higher, stage by stage. Swamiji says, when by the power of long internal meditation, the vast mass of energy stored travels along the Sushumna and strikes the centers, the various centers which are there. The reaction is tremendous, immensely superior to the reaction of dream or imagination, immensely more intense than the reaction of sense perception. This world, we think it's real, hard, solid. This becomes like a dream like an illusion. When this Kundalini rises, your perception has become more powerful than this perception of yours. This becomes relegated to something like dreamlike. And then he says, it is supersensuous perception. And then he says, and as it keeps on rising higher, every center kind of reacts. And the reaction is saying, and the result is slowly a full blaze of illumination, the perception of the self. Saying layer after layer of the mind is opened up. We thought we had only one mind. Oh, it's subconscious mind and conscious mind. No, it's like an onion. The layer and layer and layer of the mind is opened up, he says, as your energy keeps on moving up. And the universe is perceived by the yogi in its subtle and causal forms. It is here that you understand what is the nature and secret of existence, not before that. Then alone, he said, the causes of the universe as sensations, etc., are known. Then comes all knowledge. So as you say, layer after layer of the mind opens. And then at every stage, there is a tremendous reaction. At every stage, there is illumination. Yes, one illumination leads to the next and the next and the next. It's like a domino effect. But if it has that enough fuel, okay, that is it. If a rocket has to go exit this Earth's gravity, it has to use a lot of rocket fuel. That's why you have rocket science. You and me cannot do any, you cannot be any rocket scientist. But you need that escape velocity has to be tremendous. If we have little anything, I want to have a big rocket go up, it won't do. Most of us, our modern day yogis are like that. They'll do a little japa and dhyana for a couple of days or a couple of months. I think my Kundalini is awakened. I said, yeah, very good. It awakens and goes back to sleep again. We know. Because you don't have that fuel to set that rocket out into orbit. So, and the Swamiji says, by the power of long, when by the power of long internal meditation, that is. So, and Sri Ramakrishna, he also explains things very nicely. He explains, and all in his gospel you will find these explanations. So, apart from, you have all read the gospel, and if you haven't read, please read it. It's good for you. So, saying when the power rises here, anahata, he says, 12 petals, etc. The lotus, they are, those lotuses or the chakras are within the channel of the Sushumna. It is not outside. When we depict, in the diagram, we show, okay, outside. No, it is not outside. It is within the Sushumna canal. So the lotuses and all have to be very minute. This itself, how minute it is? It's like a thin, you can say, golden thread. That's what it is seen like. Thin golden. Within that thin golden thread are these lotuses or this chakras, whatever. So you must say how fine the energy has to be there to ascend to the. So Sri Ramakrishna says, when the Kundalini is rising up here, now you must understand that it's the mind also which is rising. And all your physical, your bodily sensations are also rising up here. So when it leaves this and comes here, the body appears dead. The mind has ascended here. And then he says, the aspirant feels the awakening of divine consciousness and sees light. In mute wonder, he sees that radiance and cries out, what is this? What is this? Yeah. In other places, this is the place where you first see God. Okay. Now you know where to see it. Here you see God, the personal aspect of God. Okay. Now those who are Vedantins and this and that, then he talks about it, just radiance. Radiance like what? It's consciousness all over. Say, what's this? What's this? The guy. Though he is prepared, he is not completely prepared for what the person sees, because it is beyond the senses. The body has become still. And that's a fourth. And the fifth is the one at the throat, near the mic. That's it. Then he says, then it comes to the sixth. This is this one. This center is located between the eyebrows. It has lotus with two petals. When the Kundalini, now again, yes, Kundalini is the totality of your entire individual existence. It's not something separate. You have become part of that Kundalini and rising up. When the Kundalini reaches it, the aspirant sees the form of God, but there still remains a slight barrier between the devotee and God. It's like a light inside a lantern. You may think you have touched the light, but in reality you cannot, because of the barrier of glass. You can see, but this is not the ordinary form of God. It is the form of the Saguna Brahman, the cosmic form of God. You can also see it's Ishvara. You can say, oh, it's the perception of Ishvara. And Ishvara, we know what it is like. Then he's saying, after passing of the 6 centers, there he's saying the aspirant goes into something called the Jada Samadhi. That is, till now it was called a Chetan Samadhi. That person can be brought down, can come down by herself or himself from this state. Once he reaches higher there, it's called a Jada. That person has to be brought down by either the Guru or those who know the science of. Cannot come down by oneself. So in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, you find Holy Mother used to get so upset, like completely like dead Sri Ramakrishna. And she used to stay awake, worried when his mind is going to come down. His mind meant he himself will come down. Then, and she voiced her concern, and she used to call her nephew, Hriday and all. And then then he taught her some mantras to be repeated when he is in that particular state, different mantras. So those mantras used to bring him down. Now, what those mantras are, we don't know. We don't want it also. We want the mantras that takes us up. We want the mantras to bring us down. But for Sri Ramakrishna, it's imperative that he be brought down for our sakes. So this is the union between Shiva and Shakti. This is the absolute. Even up till here, it is still the relative consciousness of God. It's like you cannot touch it, like there's a kind of glass barrier. There's still a slight distinction between that aspirant and the reality. And then finally it goes. That's the third eye. Okay, done. In the Bhagavad Gita says, Arjuna wanted to see the great form of God. And he was so impressed now. He has been saying, this is the greatest secret, Rajavidya, Rajaguhya, this is the greatest knowledge and the greatest wisdom, the greatest secret I have told you, and this and that. He tells him everything. And now he's saying, I want to see, if it is possible, through your grace, your real form. And we know he saw the moving and the unmoving, all the gods, all the past and the present and the future in the body of God. And then Krishna says, you cannot see me with these eyes of yours. I'll give you the divine eye. Now you can see. Divyam dadami te chakshu pasya me yogamidam. I give you the divine eye. So the third eye is the divine eye. Not that Arjuna suddenly sprouted a third eye there. It's a divine eye. It is through this that he saw in Krishna. He is standing there. It's not a body now anymore. Now, within the body of Krishna means the entire universe has become the body. The past, present, future is seen in the body. The moment you think body means hands, feet, and maybe a croc, or maybe something else, whale or something like that. No. So in the entire fabric of nature, he sees all the gods and the goddesses and everything, the creation, the preservation and destruction. And, no, I don't want to see this anymore. I want to see your familiar form. Enough. Even the divine eye was had its limits. It can know only certain things, not the whole thing. So this is the divine eye. Now for us, what is our hope of having a third eye opened? Absolutely no hope. No, I'm joking. So you find every day at Vespers we sing, Jnananjana Vimalanayana Vikshane Mohajai. The best thing is you have to go to someone whose eye is already open. The divine eye. Obviously, if you want a hamburger, you've got to go to McDonald's or you don't go to a shop which sells shoes. Give me a hamburger. So one whose eye is already open. Vikshane, he is using that same word. The Bhagavad Gita uses ikshane, to see. Vikshane, to see clearly. When Shri Ram Krishna sees you, Vikshane, moha jai. Your delusion goes away. So how do you do that? Go and sit down in front of that Shri Ram Krishna and then you look at him and he looks at you. And in our translations it said, let us look deep in thine eyes, they are bright with the wisdom of God that can break Maya spell. So now you have hope. Every one of us has hope. Opening the third eye. And this is very easy. Without doing anything much, just keep on looking at Shri Ram Krishna. I'll tell you, that's the best and easiest way. There's no trouble only. You know why? Because Swami Shivananda says, one of his disciples, all his tremendous spiritual disciplines that Shri Ram Krishna did has awakened the Brahma Kundalini. The Brahma Kundalini means we know our Kundalini. I mean, we know it in a very kind of distant way. So all of us, all living creatures have this power which is potential coiled up. All of us. And not only in human beings, but in all living. It is this power, the coiled up power, that is driving evolution. It is what has made you, us, evolve from the lowest. So it is sleeping. Yeah, it's given that kind of bad rap. It is sleeping. It's not sleeping. You think nature is sleeping? Nature is not sleeping. Nature is slowly uncoiling herself. And as she uncoils, she is evolving. Evolving what? Evolving, leading us to the reality. Higher and higher we go. Imagine if we were some grasshoppers or locusts somewhere eating all the crazy things. From there we have been evolving. You think you will be able to realize God through a body of a grasshopper? Impossible. Or through a tiger? Huh. It is only, so she is sculpting bodies where this power can finally unravel itself. And she comes down to the human body. And here it can be completely uncoiled and move upwards. But not all humans are like. There are some tamasic and there are some rajasic and there are some sattvic humans. Not all humans. Oh, this is very discriminatory. Whatever you say. Yes. Not all humans are human beings. You can see that. So in a perfect human being, in a yogi, it gets awakened. And so she has been all through working her way, not your way, her way over the billions of years to lead us all. And so Shri Ram Krishna, when Swami Shivananda, he has awakened the Brahma Kundalini, that is, he has awakened the coiled up, the sleeping power of the universe, which is, that power is also within us. So he has in a way awakened our Kundalini. Yeah, that is thank God he has come. He would have been in great trouble. So he has done everything, whatever is necessary. So he says, I've prepared the food, now you come and eat. Of course, he's saying there are some people who won't even do that. He's saying, why don't you put those morsels in my mouth? So he's saying, I prepared the food, now you come and eat. I have lit the fire, now you come and take its warmth. So he has done everything. He has awakened the universal Kundalini, the universal power of nature that is leading us. So that's why every incarnation comes and pushes evolution, gives a big boost. We don't see it like that, but actually it happens. So he has already done it for us. Now we just go and sit down in front of him and say, Vikshani Mohajai, Jnananjana Vimalanayana. With the colorum of knowledge, Jnananjana. With this clear Vimala, without clear eyes. So that is the third eye. And he sees you, you look at him, and if your third eye meets his third eye, yeah, you got it. First you look at it with two eyes, and then slowly and slowly, after sometimes for months, after years sometimes, then you can see, oh, Sri Ramakrishna looks different now. Yes. Now you're seeing him with the third eye. That will be the end of your spiritual journey. This is the awakening of the third eye. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. A few announcements before. Online magazine, Global Vedanta, it has been published. I mean, the fall issue has just come out. Go to our website, and those who have received the notification can go through it. It's a beautiful issue, compact. So next Sunday will be Sri Ramakrishna childlike disciple Swami Subodhananda. That's because his birthday falls next Sunday. Tuesday I have a talk at the University of Washington in the Allen Auditorium, 6 p.m. on the Yoga Sutras. It's a Sanskrit club they've invited. Wednesday is Gospel of Holy Mother by Swami Brahmatmananda at 7 p.m. Friday, Self-Knowledge, Atma Bodh, 7 p.m. Mother's Children, of course. And this special drive during Diwali, the food drive, we are overwhelmed. So thank you very much. But still, we like to have more coming in. The last date is October 31st. So all that food has been piled up there. So we'll go to the Auburn Food Bank. How do we, there's a question here, just one I think. Two. How do we get this escape velocity, Maharaj? We are fortunate that we have got a mantra and seeing Sri Ramakrishna daily, yet we feel trapped within the gravitational force of Maya. What's the option? Oh, nothing. Increase your power, increase your capacity, put some more fuel tanks, and then they will drop off. Boosters, little booster rockets. So keep at it, and pray. Prayer is very powerful, and that will give you that escape velocity. Okay. Is it possible for older women practitioners to transform this energy? Of course. What do you mean? There's no energy that's old or new. Okay. So energy is energy. Imagine if energy is old, energy is new. Yes, but the problem with older people is their bodies cannot take that shock. The shock, what I mean is shock is like you get a shock. Actually, you get a kind of a shock, a jolt. Because as the power is awakened and it touches a center and there's a reaction, there has to be a kind of it reverberates, or there's a kind of a recoil on the body, and if the body is not strong enough, then there's always a chance of something, or the body itself will say, no, forget it. Maybe in your next lifetime you'll try to do it, but not now. So that is one of the reasons why they say even to practice yoga and meditation, you have to have a strong body. Strong body, and I'm not talking about going to the gym and those heavy barbells and dumbbells and this and that. You keep on doing, or you might become dumb. Who knows? But the body for this, you can go, of course. Please go. I don't want to dissuade you all from something good karma. But yogasan, etc., these were actually designed for these things. The various yogasans to make the organs and everything and nerves, especially your nerves, have to be very strong, like piano wires, like tough. So that is it. And then everything is possible through grace. Is it possible for older? Yes, you can keep on doing it. So, and for the in-person questions, we can take them downstairs. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu